Hey Floss Tube, it's Karen Stitches. It's Friday the 10th of September. This is take 3 and welcome to my channel. Welcome, especially if you're a new viewer. It's lovely to have you here with me. I hope you like my channel and please leave me a comment, tell me where you came from, even if it's just emojis. And welcome back if you are a returning viewer. It's lovely to be with friends. So, it's been a bit, I know it's been 2 weeks for you, it's been about 3 for me because I actually recorded my previous video early because we've had a holiday. So let's go into a life update. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. So we had a week away in the northeast of England on the Durham Heritage Coast. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite places in the world because it's got beautiful beaches and it's quiet. You know, it's lovely. It's lovely. So we travelled up to Durham. It took us many hours as it's usually about a 4-hour journey. It's about 220 miles away from us. But we encountered all the traffic going to the Leeds Festival, music festival. So yeah. We were kind of like, we're travelling on a Wednesday, it'll be fine. Didn't think that, you know, because in my head festivals start like kind of Thursday evening, not Wednesday. So we encountered lots of traffic. It's a coffee kind of day with my favourite Wallace and Gromit mug. Anyway, so we travelled up to Durham and we went via a beautiful little seaside coastal town called Seaham. It's nothing out of the ordinary except for one thing. Actually, I'm going to say 2 things. It has a fantastic fish and chip shop, and we had like our best fish and chips I've ever had from there. It was fantastic. We sat in the seafront. Well, we sat in the car by the seafront eating our fish and chips, and then we had a lovely walk on. I think we went on North Beach. I forget there's 2. Yeah, we went on basically the harbour beach, and it was lovely. And one of the most fantastic things about Seaham is it's famous for sea glass. Now, I love sea glass, and over the years I've collected, you know, a reasonable amount of sea glass. I mean, this is pretty much every holiday since we've been married. So, you know, 18 years worth of sea glass collecting and going up to the North Durham coast. A lot of it's Seaham glass, but you know, if I find that's kind of my thing, that we're on a beach, must find at least one piece of sea. If it's not a very sea glass heavy beach, I'll just try and find a piece of sea glass. So, but we went to see them, and I took my trusty tub. It's one of the things I do pack. I pack a tub, and that was in the recycling. I was like, that'll do. So I filled this little tub, sea glass, and then filled this tub with sea glass. You can see I sorted it out, it took me ages. And then this one, that's all the aqua. And we had, that's not really easy to see, browns and ambers. Okay. And some more sort of olive green pieces. I need to get myself a new jar. Tom found this really big piece of green. That was really nice. And then we found some specials. So in here you can see, so I'll get that big one out of the way. Reds and the blues. Obviously reds and blues are really rare, so hence only a tiny bit there. And then we found some things that are called multis. And I'll try and open this and show you because I love my sea glass. We also found some bits of milk glass too. So basically it's the opaque glass. These are multis. So as you can see, they're striped. A bit gross, but never mind, let me just do that and you can see all the beautiful colours. Lottie found that one. And I found a couple of other ones. So that's got a very dark green. We've got one that's kind of black. We've got the pink one. I'm doing that because you can see the colours better. So just put hot water on the table. And then some various sort of green ones with black splodges and stuff on them. Anyway, so that's all my multis in there. And my milk glass. So those were some really special finds. So don't know quite what I'm going to do with all those. And we found a bit of milk glass before. We found the odd multi. Some of the I don't think you'll be able to see. Some of the white pieces are actually safety glass. I'm just trying to find one. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's quite a good one. So you can see it's got like metal running through. So that's actually safety glass. So all this glass is at Seaham because so that's 450 grams in case anybody's wondering. Because up until 1921 there was a bottle works there, and at the end of the day they dumped the glass in the sea. That's how they did it. That's what, you know. So over 100 years this has been washed up onto the beach at Seaham. We had a couple of days later we went back to Seaham on North what's it called? Seaham Hall Beach, and that was when we just basically just sat and I just sat in the so dig. Oh, more sea glass. And you could literally do that and just pick it out like that. It's just that much of it, and I left so much behind as well that we found. I was kind of like, don't need any more white. Got quite a lot of green, thank you. So it was wonderful. We had a fantastic day. We spent the one day at an open air museum called Beamish. They've just celebrated their 50th birthday. And they had 90% of their stuff was open. There were a few of the houses you couldn't go into. So it's kind of made up of different areas, and it has a pit village because it's basically built from a mining community. It has the that's the Quilter's Cottage. It was about a very famous murder. They have the I haven't got a whole picture of it. 1900s town, which has just got lots of shops that would have been around in the 1900s. Which also includes some houses and businesses and a haberdashery. Now usually you can buy stuff in the haberdashery like fabric and stuff. That wasn't available today, and the trams weren't running. But generally it was lovely, and I'll pop some, and they're just building a 1950s village, and I can't wait to go there and see that. And they've got like a railway there and lots of stuff. Love Beamish, fantastic. We've been a few times, so it's one of our favourite places to visit in the northeast. We went to the Durham Botanic Gardens and had a walk. It was lovely. It was one of those bizarre feelings when you know you're in the middle of a city but you feel like you're in the middle of wherever. It was just lovely mature trees and paths through there. And we visited the Oriental Museum, which is part of the University of Durham, which is really fascinating. And I'll just put some general pictures in. There was one piece of artwork, which is a Chinese piece from 1,000 years ago, which is actually part of a tomb, and it's this amazing phoenix. And I was like, in a border, it's like so big, and I saw that, I was like, that would make an amazing cross stitch, because that's the first thing that always comes to your mind. So that was really interesting. And what else have we done? That was pretty much. Lottie went paddleboarding with my sister-in-law and my hubby. She was really good, she didn't fall in, so that was really nice. We had a beautiful day's weather there, and we went to a place called Preston Hall Museum near my sister-in-law in Stockton-upon-Tees, because we visited my in-laws, sister-in-laws while we were there, not my in-laws, my sister-in-law. Preston Hall, just a small museum about kind of the local area. Also has a small small Victorian street, and we bought more sweets, which was really nice. And I spotted a most incredible sampler in there, which I'll try and do a little slideshow at the end of our holiday. What else do we do? Unfortunately, I wasn't very well. Another headache kind of just completely knocked me sideways, and we ended up coming home early on the Sunday evening, which was probably a good thing, as we may have sat in the Leeds and festival traffic again, so because that finished on Monday. So we did cut it half a day short, but you know, it is what it is. But we had a lovely time, and it was just nice to be away, and I did get quite a bit of stitching done whilst we were away, well, certainly in the car anyway, and then went into a finishing frenzy in the last couple of days. So I'll jump into my stitching in a minute. Lottie has started high school. She is really enjoying it. She's done a full week now. Well, we'll do by the time she gets home today. Not quite all of the lessons, because I did a lot of kind of, you know, get to know the school kind of stuff on the Monday, but generally she's enjoying it. She's met all of her teachers now. Some of them remember my eldest. We only left last year, but she's got a couple of his teachers too. She walks home from school on her own. It's lovely not having an afternoon school run, I must say. And Tom's had his induction at college, and he starts properly on Monday, and he's really pleased because then he has to go 3 days a week. So because they do 3 really full days rather than kind of just spreading it out, so he does 3 really full days of college. So he's ready to go with that. I'm back in the office 2 days a week now. Kind of not happy about that. 1 day would have been sufficient, but what can I do? I'll just make the most of my days when I'm working from home. So yeah, that's where we're at. So let's jump in to all of the stitching. I have so many finishes. I have some new starts. It's been a busy old week. So these aren't in the order I finished them. They're just finishes. Yeah, so they're not in order. So I finished November. This is the Lizzie Kate Flip It. Stitched on 32 count Star Sapphire from Wichelt, with lots of random threads. There's weeks, there's a gentle art, there's a Carrie's creation, there's some Victorian motto, Jodyri designs, bit of DMC, you name it. I kind of just threw everything. I think there's 6 different brands of floss in that. So that's done. I finished up the 2 other bits that I wanted to stitch from the from Al Forest Embroidery's Pretty Pumpkins. It's a freebie design on their website. So these that is Autumn Leaves by Weeks, and this is either an anchor or DMC variegated, and I don't know which because the skein's just not labelled anymore. I finished up Merry Christmas from Liz Matthews. This is stitched on, this is a mystery green from, that's fairly true actually as well. Mystery green from Sparklies. It's an 18 count, and it's stitched with a white sulky. And I think that could have been doing with 1 stitch over, but it's done and I'm happy. It's fine. So I may add red bead to one of the noses of the reindeer. I don't know. We'll see. I finished. Oh, I'm going to do these in order, can't I? June, July, and August of the blocks from the Tiny Modernist calendar that she designed for the 2021 Cross Stitcher magazine. These are in the call for DMC predominantly. You know, they literally might be like, oh, well, there's a scrap of brown that'll do for the brown, but I think predominantly they are in the called for. And they are on scraps of stuff. White even weave, blue even weave with sparkles in it, and yeah, just generally on scraps. So that's that. I finished Beehive Violet by Just Nan. Yeah, that's right. This is on a grey even weave. I don't know, it's a mystery one to me. I think it's 32 count, and this is in the called for DMC. And it came with the bee charm, and I used beads from my stash. I think the gold ones are probably the right ones, but the pink ones, or pinky purple ones, were just pinky purple ones I had. Oh, sorry, itchy nose. Next finish. I've still got finishes to go. Oh, that way. How about this way? Jingle Jolly Joy. This was Misty Purcell from Luminous Fibre Arts. This was her sale that she did in July, and I think you can now purchase it as a full chart from Expo, but it's stitched in the called for, and I really enjoyed stitching this. I love Santa's coat. I think that's come out really well. It's one strand on 18 count, so I probably could have done with 2 for the snowman, and I omitted all the snowflakes because I did it on spotty 18 count dots, but I'm really pleased with it. It looks fun. So really happy with that. Don't know how I'm finishing that this Christmas. I suspect it will probably, unless I can find a frame, I'll do a Leslie Hurley and paint a frame, which I can't because I'm terrible at that kind of thing. I'll have to watch a tutorial. I kind of see it. I mean, I'd love to put it in a skinny red frame, but I think it's more likely going to be a flat fold, mounted flat. So there's that. My biggest finish, and this is a zombie run piece from Daily 30, is O Tannenbaum. So last time you saw it, I just had the snowflake border to do in the middle, and I didn't leave myself much room because if you stitch this chart, Brenda Gervais tells you to do it on a long strip. I'm like, it's confusing. It really did confuse me. She doesn't. It would have been really helpful in the chart if she'd given kind of an overview, just so you could see how it all fitted together, because it didn't make. I'm usually quite good with written instructions, but I really could have done with the visual clue for this one. Anyway, so I had to kind of, so you can see my pencil lines where I was just marking out them to make sure I could just about squeeze it all on. So let me fold it a little bit so you can see. So that's the final one, and that was just stitched with Chai from Classic Colourworks. So that is done, and I have the April, May, June has kindly given me her method of finishing it, because you can't get boxes here, and she basically made her own from things that we can get here, and it was brilliant, and I loved hers. And Stitchy Sally's just finished hers as well using April's methods, and really looking forward to getting that. I just need to get to Hobbycraft, and I haven't been, so. And I did actually go to Hobbycraft when I was on holiday, didn't have the measurements or anything with me, so sorry, my foot nose is really itchy. So on to the whips. Let's do the whips first, and then we'll move on to the new starts. Well, actually, I think everything's technically, yeah, everything's a new start except for one thing. Okay, so first up is Industry, which is from the Fragments in Time Virtue series by Summerhouse Stitchworks, gifted to me by my friend Heather. And I'm stitching this in predominantly the called for colours. Yes, I am very close to a finish. I'm hoping to get that as a finish today, because I've got bee skep there, and I think I've got a couple more bees to put in. I think there's one couple here to put in, and then it's done. Oh, and I need to finish the back stitch board around here as well, and then there's a couple of blue stitches. So it's and a stitch here and a stitch there, so it's pretty much done. Hoping for a finish on that today. Let's put the threads back in the bag. And then we have the next block I'm doing on the Tiny Modernist calendar from Cross Stitcher. There we go. Again, just on scrap of white Aida with the called for threads, although I'm changing the pumpkin colours because Sharon had a genius idea. Let's move that needle out the way so you can actually see it. To do the pumpkins in 3 different colours, so I'm doing a white one, a blue one, and an orange one. So that's not far off. That should be done today too, so yay for that. My travel stitching continues to be Lizzie Kate Flip It, and I am on December, which means this is the last one. Sorry, message came down and confused me. I was in, like, completely lost my train of thought. So kind of doing my own colour conversion again, and I managed to get that much done So the outer border, I'm just running the middle border over. So hoping to get this finished this month, because then that'll be another zombie run finish. Right, new starts. Fat Quarter Shop has released, is doing their stitch along, which is called All the Trimmings. I've never done a Fat Quarter Shop one before, so I saw that. I'm a sucker for holly and Christmas, so I thought I'd give it a go. I chose to stitch it, I'm stitching it with the call for. Oh, except the turquoise, which is a Jodyri, I think, actually. This is on 20 count slate grey, and then it's picking up stuff. Don't know what's picking up, lights everywhere. But there we go, that's where I got to. There we are. So, just, just need to finish the holly berries and the white in the holly berries. And that's coming out weekly. I'm sure you can go to the Fat Quarter Shop blog and you can still get it. It's not too late to join that one. As it was Tudor week in Daily 30, Sharon and I started Tudor Bee, and I know there's a sale going on for it as well. So this is by the Blue Flower, because Janine is a genius. And I'm stitching this on 36 count parchment from Sparklies, because you know I love the Sparklies, and there is my really, really dull and boring start. And I'm stitching this in the call for, I believe, predominantly call for. I'm not one that changes designs hugely, to be honest, unless it's a small sort of thing. I tend to trust designers to know what they're doing, and I'm happy to go with their colour choices. So next up, next new start. So my September is, and I forget, and I could look on my phone but I can't because I'm recording on it, is something along the lines of September stocking startitis sampler September, with a couple of other S's thrown in for good measure. Oh, smalls, there you go, because we're doing smalls in Daily 30. So stockings, this is the September one. I'm now going out of order with them, because I try and do them every month and then I lose track and then I just don't want to do it at all. So now I'm just picking ones that fit prompts, and they will all get started like that, and it's going to be the best way to do it. Although the 4 I've picked happen to be September, October, November, December, but that's just kind of how they went, because that's how they fitted prompts. So that's where I got with that. So I'm really making good progress. So as you can see, I only have to finish the alphabet and the toe of the stocking. So yeah, give me. I changed a couple of the colours because I planned all this and was like, yeah, I'm going to do that, and didn't think about the threads that I would need. So I'm just kind of going with what I've got and substituting the best I can. So they're going to be close-ish. And lastly, I started Grace of a Flower by Hands On Design, and I'm stitching this in predominantly the call for colours, and that's the other half, and it's stitched on a Sparklies evenweave, parchment evenweave, great colour parchment. There we go, that's where I got to with that. It's about 300 stitches, and I'm hoping to get a bit more stitched on that this month. It's actually a really small stitch, so I'm hoping that it'll be really great to just kind of knock out when I need a finish. So those are the whips. I haven't touched any, so it's, actually I've touched 2 zombie pieces this month. I'm sorry, my nose is really bad. So I'm really pleased. I've got my Black White Lady to do and Cardinal Points later this month. Industry will be finished probably today, so I will pick up the stockings, then will be my Daily 30. So I'll just start. I've got three starters, so February, April. Actually, I think April's had some work on it as well. Sorry, they're all in this bag that the lovely Sam sent me, and I forget the channel now. I can't remember this channel. She used to do floss tube. I haven't seen her around for a long, long time actually. Which reminds me, I need to print the chart, photocopy the rest of the charts, because my printer thing renews today and I need to get all the prints I can get out of it. So these are all on a 36 count ivory evenweave. So those are the other 2. So that's February, and I've actually stitched on that one. I forgot about that. Finished the umbrella on the April stocking, which is that one there. I've got February one to hand. So I could get it out of the packet, but I don't want to. So I have all of them, and my plan is just kind of to stitch a whole set of 12, so one from each book, and then I will go back through and stitch other ones that I want to do, because some of the books I'm like, actually I only like that one, so I'm not bothered as to whether I stitch lots of them. One from every book would be great. And then my plan is to the Lizzie Kate board that I use for my monthlies is to screw 3 cup hooks in the bottom of it, and then just to have 3 stockings hung from it, so for the seasons. So that's my plan. Always my little balls of sea glass. This is what I've been doing with them. I made some scissor fobs for Black Pear, you may have seen. And a tiny bit of turquoisey blue in there. These are all on my what's it? You can see the rest of what I've been making just there. Can't see very closely. Just go and check out my store. And then I made this little one because I ordered the long size bottles. So this is actually a mini. But great if you don't want a big heavy fob. What else? Whilst Iris Naps, this is her new freebie series, and as lovely as the spools are, my plan is to do them all as small framed pieces, because they're not huge. 70 by 55, I imagine they're all about the same actually. 71 by 55 and yeah, 70 by 55. So they're all fantastic size. So go and check these out. And Christina's other reproduction samplers, and her original designs. I think these are originals. So, and we had a great fun discussing the sampler I saw at Preston Hall. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing these, and because they're only small, framing them and putting them on my sampler wall. That's my plan. Well, not my sampler wall, my cross stitch wall. Hawley Hall Hall. Casting a spell with Blackwood design. Peaks, I had it back. Peachwork. Peaks. I don't know. Is that the Peak side? Yeah, it was Peak side. Got it back. Had it back in stock. So I haven't quite decided what I want to do, because again, can't get a box here. And it's Hobby Lobby, and I wouldn't shop there if I lived in the States. That's my, that's my bit of feeling on things. But I do love this, and I potentially would like to stitch this as a sampler for the wall as well, because I would love some little tiny things, because it just appeals to me. I got some fabric in. These aren't my regular fabrics of the month, because well, they are. I mean, they're on Aida, but I did say to Kate, because she was really busy, I'll take whatever, because she wasn't dying, she was just going to take from stock, and I just said, although I do have a wish list, but she normally would, she said she was willing to stitch from, to get from, she said that she would. I said, just send me whatever, I'll be happy with whatever you send me. And this piece is dusk, so as you can see, it's like a graduated blue to pink to kind of a pinky grey. It's an 18 carat, it's lovely. So I've always wondered about it, because she does another one which is more like the sea as well, so I'm pleased to see one of these. So this is dusk in portrait. She obviously does it in landscape as well. That's that one. I won't put it back in the bag just yet. And then a piece of lilac ice, which is basically, it is what it is. So don't use a lot of pinks, but and lilacs and stuff, but you know, I got in Cross Stitcher magazine, which I'm actually going to do a flip through separately, because time. But I'm just going to highlight a couple of things I really do like. Firstly, I love the look of their new. They've been doing three a stitch along, and that's the part 1 and part 2. So I should be stitching that. even if it is all greens, but actually you won't notice the mistake. So that's in the kit there. So I really will be doing that, so I do like it. Just trying to find it. So I was trying to head into Christmas season, so I think the sunflowers are really, really pretty. And the Emma Congdon on the front is pretty good too, which is Everything's Better with a Little Magic. So that's just a couple of highlights, but I will do a proper flip through coming up this week. I also got random find. Don't you just love those random finds when you're like, ah, wasn't expecting to find that here. Yeah, charity shop, loads of beads. So I went and bought loads of beads this week because I think every couple of days, including Swarovski, I can't even say it, crystals. So crystal beads. So I grabbed a few things of that. And random find, Tesco had beading needles in and they were selling them off because, you know, when I think beading needles, Tesco's is not my go-to store for those. I've never sewn with the core bond ones, but to be honest, you know, if the price I paid for them, if they're terrible, I won't. There's no great loss. And I was only saying to Sharon last week, I said I must remember to order some beading needles next time I put a needle ordering. So I only have 2 left. So now I have 6. So it's one of those things. I think I paid 38p a packet, rather than like the usual couple of quid. So, and if they're not, and they're the right size, so I wiped them out of beading needles. So sorry anybody locally who would have wanted a beading needle. I don't know why you would think. And the only reason why I was looking, because I was looking for the iron-on name tapes for school. So I was looking on their sewing end thing, and I was like, beading needles, random. I said, no, not fake. I said, well, if I know where to come if I need a beading needle now, in a rush, and then kind of went, can't be that price. Did the scanny old thing. It was like, it is that price. Let me buy a couple of packets, and went back the next day and cleared them out. So if you get a swap from me, chances are you get a packet of beading needles as well. And then I got another piece of fabric from Sparkly's, and this is Snowy Skies, and this is to do the Huckleberry Farm one. I'm gonna say it looked a bit more lilac-y on the fabric viewer. I didn't want it as lilac as that. But I was kind of hoping that it would be more like literally that bit down the middle there, where the 2 colours have met. But it is what it is. I want to start Huckleberry Farm, and I don't want to wait until end of November for another piece because I need a fat quarter. So I'm going to stitch it on this, and it's going to look lovely on this too. I just would have liked slight more hint of lilac in it, but hey, it's fine. So kind of not what I expected, but it's good enough. Found this in Hobbycraft when we went with my sister-in-law. So you go on holiday and you come back with a wooden pumpkin. It's actually quite a thick one, and I don't know. Actually, I know what I can, because I took it and taken it in the other room. I'm going to use it for the Rosewood Manor pumpkin from the Just Cross Stitch Halloween edition. So I'm going to start kitting that up, and I just think that would look really good finished on that. So I might have to measure and just work up my fabric just so it kind of fills it, because I wouldn't want it to be, because I don't think the design's big, so if it was like little, you know, it needs to be that kind of size. It would look pretty terrible if it was kind of that size. It kind of look a bit lost. So yeah, I'm going to work out the stitch out and try and work out fabric from it, because I mean, I have everything in my stash from 14 count to 40 count, so I'm sure I can find something to use. Right, I would bring over everything I've done for Black Pear, but I actually think if I do that, it's likely to fall over. But as you say, go and have a look at my Black Pear stitchery, and also, yeah, plans. Did I mention plans? Kind of. Everything. Plans are always intermingled with everything else. So new week came out, Daily 30, it's sunflowers. So Graceful Flower is my sunflower one. I can't remember any of the other prompts because I didn't write them down. So no. can't remember any of them. So that's not very good, is it? I could look, but I'd mean go and get the iPad and stuff, and don't want to do that. So it'll be whatever Daily 30 prompts me to do, and you'll see in 2 weeks' time. And I'm hoping to kind of basically hit everything there again. That would be ideal. MLK I'm going to do a week on that. That's kind of, I'm kind of bust through some of the older finishes by the end of the year, and that's on my radar for a finish sooner rather than later. So I think that's kind of my next thing to try and push through. The calendar, I've only got October, November, December done. That'll be done. Stockings, I'd love to get, I'd like to have, this is a long shot. I've got the 10th of September now, so I've got 20 days. I'm aiming for 6 finishes by the end of September, which would mean I have 7 done and 5 to go. Because I'd like to have a full set by the end of the year, but that's probably a very much of a long shot. Daily 30 admin team are planning next year, and it's really exciting, and I'm loving seeing the ideas we've got, and we're all kind of going, oh, we could do this, and it's just lots of fun. So we are hoping to reopen in the end of November for members for next year. So if you're interested, keep an ear out. Yeah, and ask me for an invite or whatever. So, but last time we did it on a you can only invite one person basis, so just be warned. Even as an admin, that doesn't give me extra privileges. So anyway, I am off to, what's the time? 2:30. Got loads of things to do before the end of the day, and Lot will be home in an hour. Zoom Sharon later, and I just want to kind of go, got things to do. I was hoping to get my full decor out, but it took me like forever to upload. It took me an hour longer to upload my stuff to Etsy than I thought, because I ended up retaking loads of photographs because it wouldn't sort thumbnails out because it's stupid. And then all the thumbnails started sorting themselves out after I'd retaken all the photographs. I was like, oh, so you can do it then. Because every time you adjust your thumbnails so it fits better, and you're like, ah, that fits perfectly in that picture. And then you save it, you come out and you're like, it's chopped half of the thing off again. And you go back in and you do it again, and you spend 10 minutes on each thing doing that. And then you give up, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's done that, an hour later, and all of these thumbnails started to appear where I want them to, after I'd retaken probably a couple of dozen pictures and then uploaded them all to the computer and everything. So it was frustrating, very frustrating to say the least. I'm starting to catch up on FlossTube now, so I'm sorry there's no 1,000, so I can't even say under 1,000 subs club this week, but please still, the list is always in my drop down box. Please go and check out some of the other newbies, especially those who have been FlossTubing for a long time. The whole point of the under 1,000 subs club to start with was not to kind of get people on FlossTube number 1 up to 1,000 subscribers in 2 FlossTubes. It was those who have been FlossTubing for 2, 3, 4 years, and you kind of think, well, let's try and grow your channels because you're putting the work in, you've got the longevity, and let's grow your channels. And that's what we were trying to do. And I know there have been some newer ones that we've shouted out because there have been some just genuinely great people, but there have also been some fantastic people. And finding Judy, one of these people who had like 25 FlossTubes out and only had 100 subscribers, and she's absolutely hilarious. So I just really like her. And there's just lots of people who I think you're just like me, or you stitch all the things I like to stitch, or you actually don't stitch anything I like to stitch, but I'm fascinated by what you stitch because I know I could never stitch all the samplers like you do, or the full coverage, or they're just funny, or they have a way with, I don't know. There are so many FlossTubers out there, but go and check out some of the under 1,000 subs club people. It'd be really great to see, to give them a boost, especially if you've not, maybe there's other times where I've shouted people out and you thought, I really don't have time to watch FlossTube at the moment, or my queue is so long I don't have time for anything, and maybe you've caught up now, or you're thinking term started for the kids and it's a bit quieter and I've got a bit more time maybe to listen to FlossTube. I'm not saying you've got more time generally, because we all know how days get eaten up, but maybe if you're like me, I've had FlossTube on most of today in the background. I was watching Bren and Karen from Fox and Rabbit until I started recording. So, and I've watched Shelley Kieck stitch this morning, and Christine stitch all the things. Who else? Sarah, our Stitching Kingdom, one of my co-founders of the Under 1,000 Subs Club, along with Heather Link is my homeboy. What else? Who else have I watched this morning? I forget. Lots. I watched Leslie Hurley yesterday and Janet Jabber. I'm really behind, you know, what with the holiday, and it was really difficult watching FlossTube over the school holidays, because I just found that every time, you know, constant interruptions, and just I can't work with FlossTube on. Sometimes I can, but generally I've found lately that my concentration levels have been a lot lower because of the headaches and, you know, the health problems I've been having. I've been a lot lower. Oh, I've had some new meds, and there should be some more meds coming next month probably, so fingers crossed for those. So yeah, so my concentration's been a lot less than it normally is. That's why I love Zooming with Sharon, because it's really motivating for me. So I love doing Zoom chats, so it's great fun. Especially with small groups and one-on-ones, much better than I struggle with the really, really big ones. I've been to the Quaker Zoom with Michelle a few times, and it's just kind of, can be quite overpowering. But I love the small ones, maybe where there's no more than half a dozen of us, the ones that stitches Shannon. Oh no, she's Shannon Crafts now. The ones she's done have been brilliant. Love those, they've been really good. So if Zoom wasn't so expensive, to be honest, I would probably set my own one up. So, but at the moment, limited to the 40-minute thing, unless you're only doing one-to-one. So hey ho. So I'm going to leave it here. As I've talked about lots, I'm actually going to record the flip through now, then it's done. Otherwise, it'll be like my Stitch With Me I recorded a couple of weeks ago, and I deleted it this morning because everything I talked about I've mentioned in this video too. So I was kind of like, no, let's just get rid of that one. So hey ho. I'm going to try and get back onto my weekly schedule of Stitch With Me's, and so a fortnightly general update like this one. Then the plan is to do on alternate weeks, so that there would be, so week 1 regular update, week 2 cross stitch or flip through, week 3 regular update, week 4 a Stitch With Me or a FlossTube extra or something along those lines. That's my plan. And shout if there's anything particular you want to see, or any projects you'd like to see me do a Stitch With Me on. Yeah, words. So take care, friends, and I will see you all soon. Have a great weekend and happy stitching. Bye bye.